right, now that week 1 is fully in the books, I'm going to react to the latest NFL news going around the National Football League. My name is Harrison Graham. This is for Verts. News of the day, at least one of the news stories of the day, Jaylen Carter officially not suspended as he will be available to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been fined a game check. And the NFL is technically labeling it a one-game suspension that he already served, since it was literally before the first play of the game. It was right after the kickoff. Here's the explanation from Adam Schefter that the NFL's fining Jalen Carter $57,000, bidding on Dak Prescott. League also says the game he was ejected for will serve as a one-game suspension. After talking to the Eagles, the NFL, and the PA, Jalen has decided not to appeal and will focus on the Chiefs game, said Carter's agent Drew Rosenhaus. I'm okay with this outcome. I think you could have justified a one-game suspension, like an additional game, but he did miss the entire game, so I'm okay with it. The fact that Dak Prescott did spit could have played a role here. Now, clearly the two spits were not equal. Not all spits are created equal, they say. But I'm fine with this. He didn't play in the opener. Chiefs, that's a marquee game for the league. You want your best players available for television ratings and all that. You don't want to have this turn into some side story about the Eagles are getting screwed. So I'm cool with this. He lost a game check. He did not get to play in the opener. So I think all things considered, I'm fine with it. I also would have been fine with the one-game suspension. I think anything more than that would have been a little bit egregious, but all things considered, I think this is a fine outcome for everyone involved. All right, subscribe to the channel here on 4Verts. We got some more storylines to get into, including two coaches who could be on the hot seat, but we're chasing 12,000 subscribers. We went live for a little week 1 whip-around stream during the noon games. Enjoyed that. And I would like to do some more live shows in the future. So if you want that to happen, if you enjoy college football as well, we're here every single day for you, so subscribe right now. Okay, some 49ers news. They have finally, mercifully, caked. I combined cut and Jake. Cut Jake Moody and signed a new kicker. They also placed a key player on IR. More on that in a sec. But Jake Moody is out. Kyle Shanahan defended this guy for way too long, and after missing 2 kicks in week 1, he has called it quits for Jake Moody. He has been waived, the former third-round pick, and they have already signed a kicker, Eddy Pineiro, who's bounced around Carolina. I think he was in Jacksonville for a bit. He was with Chicago several years back. They had no choice. I mean, they're lucky it didn't cost him week 1 against San Francisco, but he doinks a 27-yarder. He has another one blocked, which was more of a breakdown, but you just couldn't trust him. Every time he went out there, you felt like he was going to miss. Didn't matter if it was a 25-yarder or a 55-yarder. In fact, he was better from 55 than 25. So, we'll see if he gets another shot somewhere else, but you can't be a team that feels like is a contender and have zero faith in your kicker. Because if you're a playoff caliber team, at some point you're going to need your kicker to make a big time kick, and that could be the difference in making the playoffs or earning the 1 seed versus the 3 seed or winning a playoff game and advancing or not. And Jake Moody couldn't be trusted. So they go to Pineiro. We'll see if he's the answer after Moody was not. In other, even more significant news, George Kittle has been placed on IR with the hamstring injury. It was reported yesterday he'll probably miss at least 3 weeks. So they'll go ahead and bite the bullet on IR for 4 weeks. We'll see if it's just 4 games and if he can return in week 6. But the injuries are just piling up for San Francisco. George Kittle on IR, Brandon Aiyuk on PUP, Jacob Cowing on IR, Demarcus Robinson still has 2 games left on a 3-game suspension. Jordan Watkins couldn't play in week 1. Sounds like he could be ready for week 2. They had to go sign Kendrick Bourne because they need receiver help. He's going to get up to $5 million. Obviously, he knows that system playing for Kyle Shanahan and the Niners several years back, so that should help a little bit. But, man, if you're San Francisco, a couple things. One, winning week 1 with all these injuries and with, obviously, the kicker issues, that's huge for them because they're treading water right now. They're just in survival mode until some of these guys get back, till Aiyuk hopefully gets back, till Kittle gets back. If they can just hover around 500 or a little bit better until the middle of the season and then try to make a push when these guys get healthy, that is, I think, kind of the thought process here because they have just been hammered with injuries early on this season. All right, we'll get to a little hot seat talk here in a moment, but first I want to tell you about today's show as we are brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Football is back and better than ever, and I'm firing off PrizePicks lineups left and right. It's very easy to place PrizePicks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. For Week 2, PrizePicks is offering a max discount on Travis Kelce, just more than half a receiving yard. You pair that with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, more than 41.5 rushing yards. I like that play. $20 entry to win $60. Of note, these max discount plays that PrizePicks periodically offers, you can only use them in one lineup. So you can't launch 10 different lineups with Travis Kelce, more than half a receiving yard. So pick and choose carefully on when you want to use it. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, hot seat talk already. We're 1 week into the season. Gotta love it. Mike McDaniel alluded this a little bit on yesterday's show, but wanted to kind of double down here because, A, he has surged in the betting markets, minus 200 to be the first head coach fired this season. And here's what he had to say today after their dreadful 33-8 loss in Indy. He said, "I would say the good news and the positive is I don't see how it could be worse." Nice, Mike. I also believe in the coaches and players to get it fixed because it's just a shame. You work behind the scenes for months on end and you don't show any of it. It's frustrating, but that could be a good thing, he says, and that's what I saw from the positive. Also, you could tell, as frustrating as it was, the team didn't splinter and the effort was still remained. Couldn't get worse. Well, I'd hope not, Mike. You lost 33-8 to Daniel Jones. Your defense got 0 stops. Tua looked like he hadn't played before. Yeah, I hope it doesn't get worse. If it gets worse, you're going to go 0-17. My God. I mean, he later kind of would say like, oh, yeah, it was embarrassing, yada, yada, but geez, I mean, yeah, the good news is surely it can't get worse. Well, I hope not. I mean, that was one of the worst debuts of a season I've ever witnessed from everyone involved. These are where the betting markets sit right now. McDaniel minus 200, Brian Daboll plus 500, Stefanski plus 500. Don't really get the Dave Canales one. He's in year 2, plus 900, fourth best odds already to get fired. I don't see that happening. Brian Callahan plus 1,000. Let's shift from one coach who could be out soon to another. Let's talk about Brian Callahan. This is insane. I don't know if you guys saw this, since he is the Titans head coach, these things don't always hit the headlines, but Brian Callahan apparently was unfamiliar with what constitutes as a catch. And I don't mean from the joke on Twitter, what even is a catch? Because like the whole, was it a football move or not? I'm talking about like feet in bounds or other body parts in bounds. This is what Callahan had to say. He was asked by a reporter, hey, it looked like Alec Andomanor's elbow landed in bounds. Why didn't you challenge that incompletion? He said, quote, "You got to get a foot in bounds too. We didn't have a clean look at whether his foot was down as well. An elbow doesn't include 2 feet, so his foot would have had to come down as well. The call from upstairs was that the call wasn't worth challenging." Brian, any other body part outside of your hand, this is in the bull book, and every average fan knows this, constitutes as a catch. Forearm, calf, elbow, especially elbow. That's like the hip, butt. Those are like the most common ones, like these contested catches where another body part lands. You see it all the time. Brian Callahan has been around football for like however old he is, his whole life. His dad is a legendary offensive line coach. Like, how is this possible? And then the next day, he is asked about it to clarify. He says, my interpretation of the rule was wrong. I'll own it. I didn't do a good enough job in that moment, and I should have challenged it. It probably would have resulted in a potential explosive play. I misspoke. So you owned your mistake or you misspoke? That's confusing. I'm well aware of the rule. I understand how it works, and the way I articulated it afterwards was incorrect, and I understand the rules of the game pretty well. Okay, like, this is a rare case where I actually think just lying is the way to go. And he kind of did that at the end, like, oh, I knew, I'd have misspoke. But the first of that statement, he said, oh, I'll own the mistake. It's like, well, which is it? Did you know the rules or didn't you? It's pretty obvious he did not. If you listen to the clip, the first one, he said, well, you also have to get a foot in. Like, he was very direct about it. Like, how do you not know the rules? Like, are you teaching your receivers that you have to have a foot down no matter what? Like, seriously, like, what if this is being taught to your team all of training camp? Like, hey, if you don't get 2 feet, you have to at least get 1 plus a body part. That is not the rule. I mean, that's like Eberflus-esque to me, like that media situation. Like, you have one of 2 options the next day. Just say, hey, pretty embarrassing. I didn't know the clear definition of the rule. Or I think in this case, it's actually a better PR move if you lie. Be like, yeah, just, got mixed up on the question. I know the rules. But instead, he kind of did both. It's like, oh, which is it? So not a good look for a guy who already people question about. It's like they hired him as the non-play calling OC under Zach Taylor to be their head coach. Like, that was already a tough sell. Yikes. That is not a good look at all. Who will be the first head coach fired this year? These are 2 guys I'm keeping an eye on, Mike McDaniel and Brian Callahan. So give us your thoughts in the comment section of this video. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for hanging out here with us today. If you made it to the end of the video, that makes you a real one. We will be back very, very soon here on Verts. So don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you then.